The mission of Souza is to give customers the freedom to innovate everywhere. We are a global leader in true open source solutions, and our community-led power of many approach to innovation ensures that we give you the freedom and flexibility needed to meet your digital transformation goals. We help our customers around the world simplify, modernize, and accelerate their business with solutions for hybrid cloud IT, cloud-native transformation, and IT operations at the edge. Are you ready for Souza to help? No matter how complex your infrastructure or how quickly you are transitioning to the cloud, Souza has the solutions to power your hybrid cloud IT strategy. Souza offers one platform for managing all your business-critical applications, like SAP, without downtime, whether running on-premises or in the cloud. Souza solutions for high-performance computing take the complexity out of running demanding applications like AI/ML and analytics, so you can focus on gaining new business insights. Souza management solutions enable you to seamlessly and securely migrate your enterprise workloads across operating systems and hybrid cloud infrastructure. Souza is here to enable your cloud-native transformation by harnessing the power of containers and Kubernetes to innovate faster and keep up with the changing demands of your business. Our Souza Rancher Enterprise Kubernetes Management Platform is the only solution that offers simple, consistent, and secure operation of any certified Kubernetes distribution from the data center to the cloud to the edge and beyond. By harnessing the power of containers, you can create new customer experiences by accelerating the deployment of new cloud-native applications. Modernize your legacy monolithic applications and infrastructure with agile cloud services and migrate existing applications into containers to more effectively leverage your cloud-native infrastructure. As edge computing continues to emerge as a key pillar of your customer-centric digital transformation strategy, Souza makes IT operations at the edge possible. Souza provides mission-critical edge computing solutions that are simple to use and reliable, with the highest level of security, safety, and compliance. With Souza, you are able to build, deploy, and manage cloud-native applications at massive scale using our adaptable Linux OS and Kubernetes solutions that are purpose-built for the edge. Souza Edge solutions are helping expand the boundaries of innovation into areas including medical devices, 5G equipment, automobiles, aircraft, factories, cruise ships, retail stores, and even satellites. At Souza, we want you to be innovation heroes for your customers. Your journey of innovation starts with Souza, and we at Souza have one goal: your success. The mission of Souza is to give customers the freedom to innovate everywhere. We are a global leader in true open source solutions, and our community-led power of many approach to innovation ensures that we give you the freedom and flexibility needed to meet your digital transformation goals. We help our customers around the world simplify, modernize, and accelerate their business with solutions for hybrid cloud IT, cloud-native transformation, and IT operations at the edge. Are you ready for Souza to help? No matter how complex your infrastructure or how quickly you are transitioning to the cloud, Souza has the solutions to power your hybrid cloud IT strategy. Souza offers one platform for managing all your business-critical applications, like SAP, without downtime, whether running on-premises or in the cloud. Souza solutions for high-performance computing take the complexity out of running demanding applications like AI, ML, and analytics, so you can focus on gaining new business insights. Souza management solutions enable you to seamlessly and securely migrate your enterprise workloads across operating systems and hybrid cloud infrastructure. Souza is here to enable your cloud-native transformation by harnessing the power of containers and Kubernetes to innovate faster and keep up with the changing demands of your business. Our Souza Rancher Enterprise Kubernetes Management Platform is the only solution that offers simple, consistent, and secure operation of any certified Kubernetes distribution from the data center to the cloud to the edge and beyond. By harnessing the power of containers, you can create new customer experiences by accelerating the deployment of new cloud-native applications. Modernize your legacy monolithic applications and infrastructure with agile cloud services and migrate existing applications into containers to more effectively leverage your cloud-native infrastructure. As edge computing continues to emerge as a key pillar of your customer-centric digital transformation strategy, Souza makes IT operations at the edge possible. Souza provides mission-critical edge computing solutions that are simple to use and reliable, with the highest level of security, safety, and compliance. With Souza, you are able to build, deploy, and manage cloud-native applications at massive scale using our adaptable Linux OS and Kubernetes solutions that are purpose-built for the edge. Souza Edge solutions are helping expand the boundaries of innovation into areas including medical devices, 5G equipment, automobiles, aircraft, factories, cruise ships, retail stores, and even satellites. At Souza, we want you to be innovation heroes for your customers. Your journey of innovation starts with Souza, and we at Souza have one goal: your success. The mission of Souza is to give customers the freedom to innovate everywhere. We are a global leader in true open source solutions, and our community-led power of many approach to innovation ensures that we give you the freedom and flexibility needed to meet your digital transformation goals. We help our customers around the world simplify, modernize, and accelerate their business with solutions for hybrid cloud IT, cloud-native transformation, and IT operations at the edge. Are you ready for Souza to help? No matter how complex your infrastructure or how quickly you are transitioning to the cloud, Souza has the solutions to power your hybrid cloud IT strategy. Souza offers one platform for managing all your business-critical applications, like SAP, without downtime, whether running on-premises or in the cloud. Souza solutions for high-performance computing take the complexity out of running demanding applications like AI, ML, and analytics, so you can focus on gaining new business insights. Souza management solutions enable you to seamlessly and securely migrate your enterprise workloads across operating systems and hybrid cloud infrastructure. Souza is here to enable your cloud-native transformation by harnessing the power of containers and Kubernetes to innovate faster and keep up with the changing demands of your business. Our Souza Rancher Enterprise Kubernetes Management Platform is the only solution that offers simple, consistent, and secure operation of any certified Kubernetes distribution from the data center to the cloud to the edge and beyond. By harnessing the power of containers, you can create new customer experiences by accelerating the deployment of new cloud-native applications. Modernize your legacy monolithic applications and infrastructure with agile cloud services and migrate existing applications into containers to more effectively leverage your cloud-native infrastructure. As edge computing continues to emerge as a key pillar of your customer-centric digital transformation strategy, Souza makes IT operations at the edge possible. Souza provides mission-critical edge computing solutions that are simple to use and reliable, with the highest level of security, safety, and compliance. With Souza, you are able to build, deploy, and manage cloud-native applications at massive scale using our adaptable Linux OS and Kubernetes solutions that are purpose-built for the edge. Souza Edge solutions are helping expand the boundaries of innovation into areas including medical devices, 5G equipment, automobiles, aircraft, factories, cruise ships, retail stores, and even satellites. At Souza, we want you to be innovation heroes for your customers. Your journey of innovation starts with Souza, and we at Souza have one goal: your success. The mission of Souza is to give customers the freedom to innovate everywhere. We are a global leader in true open source solutions, and our community-led power of many approach to innovation ensures that we give you the freedom and flexibility needed to meet your digital transformation goals. We help our customers around the world simplify, modernize, and accelerate their business with solutions for hybrid cloud IT, cloud-native transformation, and IT operations at the edge. Are you ready for Souza to help? No matter how complex your infrastructure or how quickly you are transitioning to the cloud, Souza has the solutions to power your hybrid cloud IT strategy. Souza offers one platform for managing all your business-critical applications, like SAP, without downtime, whether running on-premises or in the cloud. Souza solutions for high-performance computing take the complexity out of running demanding applications like AI, ML, and analytics, so you can focus on gaining new business insights. Souza management solutions enable you to seamlessly and securely migrate your enterprise workloads across operating systems and hybrid cloud infrastructure. Souza is here to enable your cloud-native transformation by harnessing the power of containers and Kubernetes to innovate faster and keep up with the changing demands of your business. Our Souza Rancher Enterprise Kubernetes Management Platform is the only solution that offers simple, consistent, and secure operation of any certified Kubernetes distribution from the data center to the cloud to the edge and beyond. By harnessing the power of containers, you can create new customer experiences by accelerating the deployment of new cloud-native applications. Modernize your legacy monolithic applications and infrastructure with agile cloud services and migrate existing applications into containers to more effectively leverage your cloud-native infrastructure. As edge computing continues to emerge as a key pillar of your customer-centric digital transformation strategy, Souza makes IT operations at the edge possible. Souza provides mission-critical edge computing solutions that are simple to use and reliable, with the highest level of security, safety, and compliance. With Souza, you are able to build, deploy, and manage cloud-native applications at massive scale using our adaptable Linux OS and Kubernetes solutions that are purpose-built for the edge. Souza Edge solutions are helping expand the boundaries of innovation into areas including medical devices, 5G equipment, automobiles, aircraft, factories, cruise ships, retail stores, and even satellites. At Souza, we want you to be innovation heroes for your customers. Your journey of innovation starts with Souza, and we at Souza have one goal: your success. The mission of Souza is to give customers the freedom to innovate everywhere. We are a global leader in true open source solutions, and our community-led power of many approach to innovation ensures that we give you the freedom and flexibility needed to meet your digital transformation goals. We help our customers around the world simplify, modernize, and accelerate their business with solutions for hybrid cloud IT, cloud-native transformation, and IT operations at the edge. Are you ready for Souza to help? No matter how complex your infrastructure or how quickly you are transitioning to the cloud, Souza has the solutions to power your hybrid cloud IT strategy. Souza offers one platform for managing all your business-critical applications, like SAP, without downtime, whether running on-premises or in the cloud. Souza solutions for high-performance computing take the complexity out of running demanding applications like AI, ML, and analytics, so you can focus on gaining new business insights. Souza management solutions enable you to seamlessly and securely migrate your enterprise workloads across operating systems and hybrid cloud infrastructure. Souza is here to enable your cloud-native transformation by harnessing the power of containers and Kubernetes to innovate faster and keep up with the changing demands of your business. Our Souza Rancher Enterprise Kubernetes Management Platform is the only solution that offers simple, consistent, and secure operation of any certified Kubernetes distribution from the data center to the cloud to the edge and beyond. By harnessing the power of containers, you can create new customer experiences by accelerating the deployment of new cloud-native applications. Modernize your legacy monolithic applications and infrastructure with agile cloud services and migrate existing applications into containers to more effectively leverage your cloud-native infrastructure. As edge computing continues to emerge as a key pillar of your customer-centric digital transformation strategy, Souza makes IT operations at the edge possible. Souza provides mission-critical edge computing solutions that are simple to use and reliable, with the highest level of security, safety, and compliance. With Souza, you are able to build, deploy, and manage cloud-native applications at massive scale using our adaptable Linux OS and Kubernetes solutions that are purpose-built for the edge. Souza Edge solutions are helping expand the boundaries of innovation into areas including medical devices, 5G equipment, automobiles, aircraft, factories, cruise ships, retail stores, and even satellites. At Souza, we want you to be innovation heroes for your customers. Your journey of innovation starts with Souza, and we at Souza have one goal: your success. mission of Souza is to give customers the freedom to innovate everywhere. We are a global leader in true open source solutions, and our community-led power of many approach to innovation ensures that we give you the freedom and flexibility needed to meet your digital transformation goals. We help our customers around the world simplify, modernize, and accelerate their business with solutions for hybrid cloud IT, cloud-native transformation, and IT operations at the edge. Are you ready for Souza to help? No matter how complex your infrastructure or how quickly you are transitioning to the cloud, Souza has the solutions to power your hybrid cloud IT strategy. Souza offers one platform for managing all your business-critical applications, like SAP, without downtime, whether running on-premises or in the cloud. Souza solutions for high-performance computing take the complexity out of running demanding applications like AI, ML, and analytics, so you can focus on gaining new business insights. Souza management solutions enable you to seamlessly and securely migrate your enterprise workloads across operating systems and hybrid cloud infrastructure. Souza is here to enable your cloud-native transformation by harnessing the power of containers and Kubernetes to innovate faster and keep up with the changing demands of your business. Our Souza Rancher Enterprise Kubernetes Management Platform is the only solution that offers simple, consistent, and secure operation of any certified Kubernetes distribution from the data center to the cloud to the edge and beyond. By harnessing the power of containers, you can create new customer experiences by accelerating the deployment of new cloud-native applications. Modernize your legacy monolithic applications and infrastructure with agile cloud services and migrate existing applications into containers to more effectively leverage your cloud-native infrastructure. As edge computing continues to emerge as a key pillar of your customer-centric digital transformation strategy, Souza makes IT operations at the edge possible. Souza provides mission-critical edge computing solutions that are simple to use and reliable, with the highest level of security, safety, and compliance. With Souza, you are able to build, deploy, and manage cloud-native applications at massive scale using our adaptable Linux OS and Kubernetes solutions that are purpose-built for the edge. Souza Edge solutions are helping expand the boundaries of innovation into areas including medical devices, 5G equipment, automobiles, aircraft, factories, cruise ships, retail stores, and even satellites. At Souza, we want you to be innovation heroes for your customers. Your journey of innovation starts with Souza, and we at Souza have one goal: your success. The mission of Souza is to give customers the freedom to innovate everywhere. We are a global leader in true open source solutions, and our community-led power of many approach to innovation ensures that we give you the freedom and flexibility needed to meet your digital transformation goals. We help our customers around the world simplify, modernize, and accelerate their business with solutions for hybrid cloud IT, cloud-native transformation, and IT operations at the edge. Are you ready for Souza to help? No matter how complex your infrastructure or how quickly you are transitioning to the cloud, Souza has the solutions to power your hybrid cloud IT strategy. Souza offers one platform for managing all your business-critical applications, like SAP, without downtime, whether running on-premises or in the cloud. Souza solutions for high-performance computing take the complexity out of running demanding applications like AI, ML, and analytics, so you can focus on gaining new business insights. Souza management solutions enable you to seamlessly and securely migrate your enterprise workloads across operating systems and hybrid cloud infrastructure. Souza is here to enable your cloud-native transformation by harnessing the power of containers and Kubernetes to innovate faster and keep up with the changing demands of your business. Our Souza Rancher Enterprise Kubernetes Management Platform is the only solution that offers simple, consistent, and secure operation of any certified Kubernetes distribution from the data center to the cloud to the edge and beyond. By harnessing the power of containers, you can create new customer experiences by accelerating the deployment of new cloud-native applications. Modernize your legacy monolithic applications and infrastructure with agile cloud services and migrate existing applications into containers to more effectively leverage your cloud-native infrastructure. As edge computing continues to emerge as a key pillar of your customer-centric digital transformation strategy, Souza makes IT operations at the edge possible. Souza provides mission-critical edge computing solutions that are simple to use and reliable, with the highest level of security, safety, and compliance. With Souza, you are able to build, deploy, and manage cloud-native applications at massive scale using our adaptable Linux OS and Kubernetes solutions that are purpose-built for the edge. Souza Edge solutions are helping expand the boundaries of innovation into areas including medical devices, 5G equipment, automobiles, aircraft, factories, cruise ships, retail stores, and even satellites. At Souza, we want you to be innovation heroes for your customers. Your journey of innovation starts with Souza, and we at Souza have one goal: your success. The mission of Souza is to give customers the freedom to innovate everywhere. We are a global leader in true open source solutions, and our community-led power of many approach to innovation ensures that we give you the freedom and flexibility needed to meet your digital transformation goals. We help our customers around the world simplify, modernize, and accelerate their business with solutions for hybrid cloud IT, cloud-native transformation, and IT operations at the edge. Are you ready for Souza to help? No matter how complex your infrastructure or how quickly you are transitioning to the cloud, Souza has the solutions to power your hybrid cloud IT strategy. Souza offers one platform for managing all your business-critical applications, like SAP, without downtime, whether running on-premises or in the cloud. Souza solutions for high-performance computing take the complexity out of running demanding applications like AI, ML, and analytics, so you can focus on gaining new business insights. Souza management solutions enable you to seamlessly and securely migrate your enterprise workloads across operating systems and hybrid cloud infrastructure. Souza is here to enable your cloud-native transformation by harnessing the power of containers and Kubernetes to innovate faster and keep up with the changing demands of your business. Our Souza Rancher Enterprise Kubernetes Management Platform is the only solution that offers simple, consistent, and secure operation of any certified Kubernetes distribution from the data center to the cloud to the edge and beyond. By harnessing the power of containers, you can create new customer experiences by accelerating the deployment of new cloud-native applications. Modernize your legacy monolithic applications and infrastructure with agile cloud services and migrate existing applications into containers to more effectively leverage your cloud-native infrastructure. As edge computing continues to emerge as a key pillar of your customer-centric digital transformation strategy, Souza makes IT operations at the edge possible. Souza provides mission-critical edge computing solutions that are simple to use and reliable, with the highest level of security, safety, and compliance. With Souza, you are able to build, deploy, and manage cloud-native applications at massive scale using our adaptable Linux OS and Kubernetes solutions that are purpose-built for the edge. Souza Edge solutions are helping expand the boundaries of innovation into areas including medical devices, 5G equipment, automobiles, aircraft, factories, cruise ships, retail stores, and even satellites. At Souza, we want you to be innovation heroes for your customers. Your journey of innovation starts with Souza, and we at Souza have one goal: your success.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the 4th edition of Open Source India 2021. Till last year, this used to be a one-to-one conference, and I'm sure Golakji and Saurabhji all must have witnessed that event. But this year, with various restrictions on the COVID, which is a new challenge for all the IT professionals like you and me, we are struggling, but this is something which beautifully has come up thanks to all the technology that virtually we are doing all this conference. So open source this year, we want to see from last year what we achieved till now, including in the COVID time, how this open source has given a beautiful. Sumit, welcome, Sumit.
Thank you.
So, this is something which we need to discuss, where the open source today and what are the initiatives has taken in various places, in the bank, in the government offices, in the private sector, and also various consultants who's pushing this open source. So I welcome all the distinguished speakers, Dr. Neeta Verma, Director General, NIC, Shri Golak Kumar Sindhi, CTO, Passport Seva Project, Ministry of External Affairs, Manish Tiwari, Senior VP and Global CISO Bharti Airtel, will be joining in another 10 minutes. Saurabh Jain, who's the Vice President and Paytm, is with us. We have Prasanna Lohar, who is the Head Technology Digital Innovation Architect at DCB Bank. Sumit Chaudhary, who is the founder of Gayas, is into smart cities. He's an ex-CIO of Reliance. He's an ex-IBMer and well-known in the IT industry. And we have a cyber expert, Mohit Rampal, who's a consultant and to Ramaji Technologies. So I welcome all of you. And after all of your presentations or a talk, we'll get into a small panel discussion. Where are we and what are the initiatives we have taken on the open source? Is the present government still pushing open source, or there is this thing, and why the people are not adopting open source the way it was started? Still there is a hinge. Is it a security hinge, or is it something else where people have a problem of adopting open source? So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all to this 4th edition of the Open Source Summit 2021. I request to run the video with Dr. Neeta Verma, please.
Good morning to all. It is indeed my pleasure to speak at the Open Source Virtual Summit. Technology is penetrating in almost every walk of our life, right from communication, messaging, collaboration, to e-commerce, transport, entertainment, to even monitoring our health and safety. Use of robots in surgery, AI-assisted medical diagnosis, and the list goes on. Our critical infrastructure, be it defense, power, water, hospitals, to transportation, technology is playing a critical role. At the core of all these applications is the software. And underneath these app software systems, we have infrastructure such as data centers, network, cloud, and others. Here also, software is playing a vital role. Our infrastructure today is becoming more and more software defined, be it compute, storage, network, or security. It is all coded in the layers of software. Globalization has made supply chains distributed, designed in one country, produced in another, assembled in different country, transported through another country, and used in yet another country. There are a whole lot of issues of trust in this supply chain. There have been security breaches as well. Therefore, a number of initiatives have been taken to overcome these concerns. The core issue is the transparency into functioning of these systems, to be able to access and view how does this system operate under different conditions. And open source software makes this possible. Another aspect is mobile and broadband revolution in the country. With 1.1 billion mobile connections, over 700 million smartphone users, and around 700 million broadband users in India, technology is today reaching in the nook and corner of India. And similar is the situation in many other countries. Now, when we will have second half of our population coming in the ambit of technology, we'll have far more diversity in the user's profile on many dimensions. Hence, one solution fits all may no longer work. Need to provide customized, personalized solutions will be further amplified. Open source software gives us the ability to change, augment, as well as customize the software. Tremendous scope of innovation is another dimension of open source growth in recent years, and we have witnessed umpteen examples of this open source led innovation. So, transparency, security, customization, and innovation are some of the driving factors towards growth of open source softwares in the world. Today, you have open source software to meet almost any requirement on any layer of computing. And therefore, open source software is an important component of strategy of almost every private organization, including those who have established proprietary or closed source products already in their offerings. Potential of building a worldwide community across the product and tremendous possibility of innovation is at the core of such decisions. At National Informatics Center NIC, which is a technology partner to government with its 800 offices pan-India reaching up to every district of India, NIC has been building a large number of solutions to cater to various requirements of e-governance as well as delivery of citizen services at various levels. We have been a big proponent of open source software since long. We deployed open source solutions much before the advent of policy on adoption of open source software for Government of India. Way back in the year 1998, we had developed a variant of Linux OS, LBFN, and deployed it on servers and terminals used for judicial systems. Open source word processor Uniplex was deployed for typing of court judgments and orders. Linux-based software was deployed for web servers for city civil courts in the year 2002. And since then, open source softwares have become first, indeed the default choice for any of our project. Today, we have a large number of e-governance platforms and products built using open source software solutions. To name a few, e-office is our digital office solution is completely built on open source. It is presently being used over 600 government organizations spanning across government ministries, departments, state governments, as well as district administration. Similarly, e-procurement is a platform for public procurement used by government entities completely built on open source. Over 1 lakh tenders are published every month by different entities on this platform. E-hospital is another open source built product. It is an end-to-end hospital management software currently operating in over 400 different hospitals in India. E-auction is our recently launched open source solution to help the government and public sector undertaking to carry out their auction related activities online in a seamless manner. It can be used to carry out wide variety of auctions forward, backward as well as open auctions. MyGov, a popular citizen engagement platform in India, is also built by NIC using open source technology. Latest in the foray is Arogya Setu, a technology solution for contact tracing to check the spread of COVID-19 infection. With around 17 crore downloads, Arogya Setu is today one of the largest contact tracing apps in the world. This application essentially works on the concept of contact tracing using Bluetooth and location services. It alerts the user in much advance if he or she has come in contact with some COVID positive patient so that they can take appropriate measures to protect themselves as well as protect their families and friends. App has proved to be extremely useful during COVID times. It was also used to create containment zones which were evolving almost on a daily basis. There was a lot of interest shown in this app from countries across the world. Therefore, first time in the history of government, we contributed Arogya Setu code to open source repository. It was further coupled with programs such as Bug Bounty to provide an opportunity for young professionals to identify security concerns, if any. Bug Bounty was also announced for those who could suggest enhancement in the source code. And overall, it was a wonderful experience. And encouraged by this, we will try to take this trend forward in our other solutions. I would like to close by saying that each one of us should contribute our bit to make open source grow, and flourish. I would also like to thank the organizers and wish you all fruitful deliberations in the coming sessions and this conference a great success. Thank you.
Was the address by Dr. Nita Verma, DG NIC. Now I request Sri Golak Kumar Simliji, the CTO of Passport Seva, to address the gathering. Golakji.
Very good morning, Sasiji, your entire team, Bharat Exhibitions, and the partners who have joined in this open source event. Let me also greet my co-panelists, including DG Ma'am, Ma'am Nita Verma, and the entire panel who have joined today to discuss this, I'll say pressing kind of a requirement and also issues today we are into, and how do we leverage open source. Coming back to some of the key things or the key takeaways I'd like to pinpoint here. Today, if we see open source, it has become kind of a, I'll say preferred model or de facto model, especially in some of the areas, and when you say some of the areas, the first and foremost is in the area of software development. The second is in the data center solutions, very impressive, at least what I am using in my data center solutions, the open source stack, the open source components, it's very impressive. That much I can tell you in the Passport Seva program. The third area which I really find in the coming days, it will be very useful as far as open source is concerned is the cloud solutions, And when I say cloud solutions, both infrastructure as a service and software as a service. So both these areas, we'll see that there is a plenty of harnessing of open source stakes in terms of the open source foundation at large, open source stack at large, and in any case, today, if you ask me, if we see the survey and the data available with us, what we find is almost 99% of commercial databases, again, I'm quoting, almost 99% of commercial databases, at least they have one component which they use from the open source. Now just imagine the kind of magnitude and the kind of the coverage it has, and the kind of potential it has in terms of using open source. The second area which I find very kind of useful and impressive is today we all, in fact, even in the Passport Seva program, if you will see that Passport Seva program version 2, I'll move towards a container-based microservice architecture. Now, this is one of the kind of emerging technology, I'll say, or emerging solution, I say. This will be a game changer for the government. The moment you use more and more kind of a container-based microservice architecture, it will not only help to create kind of an independent layer in terms of infrastructure layer, in terms of security layer, in terms of network layer, in terms of DevOps layer. Not only it will allow us to develop and create these layers independent of each other, but it will be completely vendor agnostic. No, it will be completely vendor independent. That is one of the biggest advantage we get. The second biggest advantage we get is each of our workforce, whether some of my team, let's say they are working on a DevOps environments, they are completely independent of the, let's say, operation team or the security team. They can independently work with each other, and finally, when the solution comes, they can easily move into the production without even disturbing, having to disturb to each one of them or each another. So that is another area I foresee. The use of open source will increase and enhance. Some of the other areas I find the open source is playing a big role is on the cloud native platform, software defined storage. Today we are more and more seeing OS level virtualization. Apart from hardware level virtualization, a lot of OS level virtualization are built into a open source state. These are the area again I find that they become very handy as far as government departments are concerned, ministries are concerned, and they can come out with a solution or any kind of a services or any kind of a application, having kind of a collaborative and sharing kind of a environment where every one of us can share our experience, every one of us can share our code bases, to each of these government departments, and thereby, it will help us expeditiously, implementation of any scheme per se, implementation of any project per se, implementation of any specific kind of a module per se, and most of us, we witness that when it comes to government, whether we talk between a state to a state department or ministries to ministries department. Let me give an example. For an example, let's say Delhi government is issuing a driving license and they have developed an application. I don't find much of difference if the Andhra government is using the same application. I mean, where is the difference when it comes to processes, policies, issuance of a driving license between a state to a state, and why should it vary? And why is that every state to reinvent the wheel? Why can't we develop these code bases and share across the states? No, we can very much do this. This is one of the example. The second example could be whatever best practices, we could enable in Passport Seva program. Why can't I replicate to other central line ministries in terms of business model, in terms of software development, in terms of testing and coding, in terms of creating the security framework? Everything can be, shared between each of the ministries. The last thing, I would like to also add here, saying that if you see government at large, now we are moving towards creating, I say, platform of platforms. Let me cite some example. For an example, Aadhaar could be one platform, GST could be another platform, Umang could be another platform. These are we call platform of platforms, and when you create such kind of platforms we need applications, right? We need applications who are business oriented, service oriented, citizen oriented. And when we are creating these platforms, again, we must use much of the open source stakes or open source OpenStack Foundation, so that the applications developed and made for masses at large can be made available in no point of time. It can be leveraged among, as I said, various states and various government agencies. And at the same time, the beauty is, we always say that most of the time, open source, always we say that there is security concerns attached to it. And if that is the case, these kind of sharing of code bases among government department, these kind of using the best practices among the government department or the central line ministries will definitely help us to even beat the security concerns which we generally discuss while using the open source. The last thing before I end, I must say that today I was seeing a Gartner report which suggests us that government of India, in terms of IT spending, it's almost $7.3 billion. That is almost 9.5% higher than the previous year is going to spend. And if that is the case, I personally see that there is a huge potential, available for the open source community and open source industry to take part in the Atmanirbhar Bharat, whether we call Digital India or Make in India. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sasiji, back to you.
Thank you, Balaji. Thank you addressing the audience about the various issues taken by the government and various software which has been launched. Now may I request Mr. Prasanna Lohar, who is Head of Technology, Digital Innovation Architecture of DCB Bank, to address the gathering. Prasanna?
Hello, I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so great. Okay, so just a moment. Let me share my screen. Let me see if it is. I think this, just a second. I'm just opening my browser again.
I would like to welcome Manish Tiwari. Also, looks like he has joined. Hi, Manish.
Hi, Shashi. I've been here for some time now. So,
okay.
Thank you. I'll go on mute.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I'll just start my. I'm not sure whether it is. My screen is visible.
Not yet, sir.
Sir, kindly share your webcam.
It is shared webcam now.
Yeah.
Yes. Second. it's searching webcam. Just
Yes, Prasanna, we can see the presentation. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so very good morning, and as usual, it's great to be with you, Shashi, and to talk about this Open Source Summit 2021. And I appreciate organizers. This event has come on right time. I think what we have seen in the last 12 months or so, the innovations were everywhere. Not only in banking but across healthcare and every other sector which we have seen innovations all around. Okay, so so this is all about me. I work in DCB Bank as an innovation digital and architecture head. So open source, in my view, is not around saving money and to have an open source code or something like that. It is all about doing more stuff, more research, and more incremental innovation. I think we heard about some of our great panelists, and Aadhaar, Arogya Setu is such a great example of.
I think we lost Prasanna ji.
So
Hello?
your video is Prasanna, sir. Yes, now can you speak?
Yeah,
Yes,
there.
sir. You are audible. You are audible, and your PPT.
I was talking about many other technologies like or some of the outputs. Every commercial application which we see some or the other time, it was always open source and started from some kind of a research work which we have seen. Blockchain kind of a technology or artificial intelligence. Say example, blockchain tomorrow will bring a lot of applications on blockchain, but today most of blockchain platforms, fabrics like R3, Hyperledgers, they have their open source versions available for startup community on GitHub to practice it around. That's how we can really see how it is very important to nurture open source so that we keep on creating incremental innovations. Okay, so I'll see, we have seen these logos right earlier like Kodak, AOL, BlackBerry, and Nokia's and this and that. So these logos has vanished. Okay, what is the problem with these logos? They have not seen how the country or how customer is moving ahead with the technology. How the customer demand is there, right? Customer has moved on to these technologies like Google, Amazon, or Netflix, and in the last 10-12 months, we have seen a surge of digital usage or data is being utilized everywhere. You talk about Netflix or Amazon Prime, and those are like the type of companies who has arisen in last 10-12 years and add up all these physical models, right? And there even talk about Google and Google, what search engine we see, it was open source earlier. That's how the journey has started. So what I wanted to say that any organization would like to really see where consumer is moving, and if a pace of a consumer is faster than the pace of that organization, certainly those organizations will be like these organizations, Kodaks and Nokia's. So it's very, very important for every organization to have a research angle and to see how consumer is moving ahead and utilize these upcoming technologies and emerging techs so that they practice it and come up with the right set of product services for your customers. So this is in banking point of view, what we have seen in 1967, we have come up with the ATM, right? First ATM, that could be a magical moment for most of the customers who will in front of that ATM in London. But today ATM is a commodity, like it is always available. Any bank is that there has to be one ATM. That's how it is. But in certain, say example, in last 12 months, what all innovations banks have done. Say example, customer is not visiting to your bank branches. I don't know how many of you have visited really bank branches last 1 year. So customer is not going to visit at the bank branches. Customer will say, please collect the document at my home, but our staff will not go there, right? So everything has to be contactless or touchless. Say example, KYC or video KYC. So video KYC has arisen, which was RBI's recommendation back in 2019, but that has become actual reality for banks like DCB and IndusInd and HDFC and so on, wherein they started utilizing video KYC to do the actual KYC of a customer. Now, if you go back, this video KYC is a component of so many things. How are we really capturing the facial expression? How are we capturing documents which is sharing, like Aadhaar and PAN? And I think it required a lot of kind of innovations and research to really make this video KYC prominent mature ecosystem. And that's how is the open source has really helped in initial days for all of those companies like Identify, Sciencey, and so on to really make a right set of a product in front of customer. So it's very, very important during COVID what we have seen. It was like to the transformation while you are, it's like changing the engine of your airplane while you are flying your aircraft. So companies has gone through a lot of challenges on the cybersecurity side, or how do we really keep employees engaged, and as well as this could be majority of companies who are in the service sector, and what they have seen that they have reformed their strategies and reimagined how they will be into the next post-COVID era. As bank like DCB, we always now look at how can we bring contactless or touchless banking. But I think one of our colleagues has really rightly said, if we go for open source kind of ecosystems, so it is an always chance that it is vulnerable or it is not secure, and so many challenges are there. So I'll talk about one thing which we are doing. How do we safeguard our interests around open source? We are now partner with, or rather we are part of an Open Innovation Network, OIN. And that is really helping us to whatever softwares we are going to deploy at our, even if it is open source, we are safeguarding us against that policy. So I think what we have seen in COVID, that every industry was collapsed. Starting from your supply chain, logistics, purchases, you talk about cinema and manufacturing, and ultimately the whole impact was on a financial ecosystem. And we have seen some campaigns and government enforcement around Atmanirbhar campaign, and some lot of investment being done by government and announced. And they have announced a lot of investments around how do we become self-sustainable model, right? How can we have a self-sustainable smart supply chains, right? I think when we announce something, like we always look at how do we enhance customer experience, how do we decrease our operational cost, can we do some kind of automation or robotic process automation? And when I talk about various technologies like adoption of blockchain, AI, big data, robotic process automation, open source has really played a major role in the maturity of these ecosystems. Say example RPA, or say example AI. So AI and RPA, there are a lot of algorithms are open source, and we can internally at our DCB we have created an testing automation based upon open source tools. That's how is the adoption at our bank, like even some of the testing tools, automation of testing we have done on the Selenium and some of the other tools. In a DevOps also we utilize lot of open source tools like development on GitHub, or followed by there are a lot of project management tools in like Maven in Java. So I think as an industry, we are moving, we are always in touch of open source, but and at the same time, it's very important for organizations to come up. Say example, organizations like Infosys or TCS or Aadhaar, they should, like what Arogya Setu has done, right? They should also open up and create their open source core banking or open source some of their tools, so that community comes and do some kind of like what Firefox does, or there are other operating system does, or even some of the blockchain companies like R3 Hyperledger have open source tools available, or open source fabrics are available. And this open source community, startups or these developers community can come and really nurture the existing tools or existing products. So that's how we should look at as a industry, or I think it's an appeal for NASSCOM and these kind of companies who can ask these companies, can we do open source more and more in country like India? What we had seen a radar view, like in manufacturing, travel industry was a hit. I think aspiration here onwards for India to how do we innovate, how do we go to the next orbit. Say in India we have seen our innovation index was 85 5 years back, and now our innovation index is somewhere around 49. But if you compare our innovation index with the China like country, which was a 45 2 years back, and today they are among top 11 or 12. That's how they have some adoption of open source, adoption of artificial intelligence, adoption of blockchain and adoption of many other emerging technologies, surveillance, computer vision. That's how they have done. So I think similarly, I think as a country, if you have to see next orbit, if I have to increase our innovation index, just like what Israel is among top 10, or some countries like Estonia are among top 10. So I think these are examples, although India has a lot of challenges around population, education, health, and so on. But I think India is full of so much of ICT, like information communication technology companies who are providing ICT services to across the world. I think we should really see how do we embark on information technology so that our innovations, at least around that, can take us to the next orbit. And that's how it is for every organization. Appeal when they want to work on open source, I think they should see, is there any culture around people? Do they have an expert developer community within the organization? So at my DCB Bank, what I have done is that we have a set of developers, and they do this weekly or monthly hackathon. So they, with the help of open source tools, they keep on doing some of the innovations on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and every week we review how this innovation is happening. That's how we are creating a culture building for innovations. And we have identified some of the processes. I think what example which I spoken about, test automation, is an outcome of utilizing these open source technologies. I think it's very, very important for every organization if they are adopting any technologies like ESB. Although we might be on IBM's ESB, we have started our journey with starting our own ESB, rather utilizing some of the open source ESB like WSA2, which is a prominent enterprise service bus. And I think as banks are moving from your branch-based banking to the open banking, it's very, very important for us to be open banking kind of ecosystem, and at the same time look at how external forces, regulations or compliances aspect of that. As a bank, we look at, even if we are utilizing MongoDB or some of the other databases, are those aligned with compliance? We keep on doing proper VAPT of these applications, so that we, at the end of the day, for our internal or external customer, we have a prominent secure applications. I think open source is a very, very good stuff for developer community and even banks like us to nurture the innovation. So I think this is how is orbit shifting can be done. So I think in interest of time, I think what we have seen, consumer used to visit branches. Now this consumer is going to visit not only branches, but also mobile banking app or internet banking app or utility bill payments and many other aggregators like Swiggy or Ola's or Uber or PhonePe. So World Economic Forum says in next 5 years, we will have around more than 300 aggregated sharing economy entities like Uber and Ola. What we have seen, co-working spaces or Yulu like sharing bikes. So you will have 350 plus entities. And that moment there will be need of more and more trust among that aggregated and the chain kind of an application, because customer is interested about services everywhere. Like what we have seen, rise of PhonePe and Google Pay, or maybe outside of India, like something which is done by Alibaba's and Tencent. So I think super apps will be the future rather than a monolithic mobile banking app. Customer will look at an app where all the services are aggregated. When we do this aggregation, we need a trust kind of ecosystem among your IoT devices. Today, we may not be utilizing those IoT devices prominently, but I think after 5G, wherein IDRBT, Government of India is really looking at 5G adoptions no sooner or the later, maybe down than 3 years. Everybody who is listening here will have 2 to 3 gadgets around his hand, legs, or maybe some of the shirts are also going to be a wearable kind of a stuff. Connected car, refrigerator, and while we do this exercise, your customer is connected through mobile phone to his connected devices, smartphones, and I think more and more research work will be required before going into the mature ecosystem. That is how your open innovation supported by open source technology will be very, very helpful for evolution of not only banking but many other areas. So I think ma'am spoke a lot about Arogya Setu, wherein we have seen Arogya Setu was really one of those prominent innovations for India, and I think many other countries also looking at how this app was being developed, right? So some of the during COVID, 3D printing or like open vent is aiming for tackle like ventilators we have seen. It was based upon open source technologies. Some of the micro robots we created on open source technology. At DCP, we run a program, open innovation program called Innovation Carnival, wherein we have our own use cases, problem statement like on customer onboarding or a lending model or something to do with cyber security or something to do with the facial expressions at the branches. If somebody is entering a branch, I should know whether he's happy or unhappy. And these kind of problem statements which I'm mentioning as a use cases are being nurtured in some of the hackathons. And during these hackathons, we embark on these developer communities and the startup communities to come up right set of a business models and something right set of a transformation models for us. So this program has really helped us to really create one few of the applications which we are now moving out to the production. Say example, lead management. We are working with some a company based in based out of Kochi. So they are helping us. There are some companies, there is a company who is helping us employee onboarding, right? So wherein on a blockchain, how can we create employee onboarding, and if that data can be shared with the other banks to see whether same employee is getting onboarded into multiple banks after receiving offer letter. I think these kind of a small exercises and innovations we are doing, looking at how at a larger scale banks get benefited out of it for ultimately end users. One of the example which was an open source program in Japan, right, which is a crypto bank wherein KYC can be shared between the banks. Say example, KYC done at a bank A, can it be reutilized by bank B? Although we have a CKYC model which is running currently, but it has some of the improvement areas which wherein we are trying to do this kind of a POC with one of the blockchain startups out here. As I rightly said, we are part of some of the open source communities, for example, Open Innovation Network, and I recommend most of the banks in India should be part of a similar kind of a Open Innovation Network to safeguard open source and help our community reduce these patented risk and so on. So example, yesterday I was talking with some of the lead management company, and he said one of the component which is open source today. Secondly, which I asked him, right, after 3 years, what is going to happen to that component? The answer is he don't know. I think these kind of innovations, if you have to bring on to the to the production environment, we should be always part of this kind of communities. 17 Sustainable Development Guidelines is a aim of UN by 2030, and I appeal if you really want to fulfill this requirement of all those 140 countries. UN also says blockchain, AI, technology adoption is a power to some of those no poverty, zero hunger, or good health. So this kind of a sustainable development guidelines. I am working with one of the project with the World Bank on a blockchain. How can we have a recycled water? How do we measure recycled water? So that program is developed in open source on blockchain and technology, and tomorrow it will be amalgam with IoT, so that IoT device will be put into the water tank and it will gauge the current pH capacity or pH. We can measure that pH at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and that is blocked into blockchain where the data cannot be tampered, wherein a government can come and do the audit of those organizations. How much water is being utilized or recycled water is being utilized, and that is one of the program water resource group which is a part of a World Bank they are doing. And even Maharashtra government is gearing. I think COVID has given some kind of a setback, but I think in this year I am surely seeing that kind of a regulation or a guideline will come for all the organizations. There should be some part of a water which should be recycled water. So I think these kind of innovation we can nurture with the help of upcoming developer community, startups, and so on before actually making it more. There are some examples which we have seen which are started like 3D printing houses, micro robots, and so many things we can keep on talking. How last 7-8 months we have seen drones, or you talk about maps, or all these innovations which we have seen. So if you look at an health ecosystem, right? Health ecosystem is aligned with many other sectors, right? Many other drones and whatever we speak about, and all of these sectors, when they have to amalgam and work as a one ecosystem, I think technology. I think it's very, very important to start some journey with research followed by actual product. These are all my initial thoughts to just support open source. My programming days in 2000 started with the C++ on Linux, and we used to be fond of all these open source technologies, wherein a new and there are many other many communities are coming. I am part of one of the architectural community and a part of an open group also. So I appeal people to collaborate for more and rely on open source more, so that same open source becomes and creates an incremental innovation for our citizens of India, where we say that at the end of a day or at the end of a 2030, we meet some of the sustainable development guidelines. That's how we'll see innovation will be helpful for us. And I think open source technology will be a radical change agent for this journey. So thank you so much once again, organizers and friends, for inviting me here to talk about how open source will play a major role post-COVID here onwards and so on. Thank you so much.
Shashi sir, your microphone. Just refresh your page. I think you got disconnected in between. Just refresh your page and switch on your webcam again.
Hello?
Prasanna sir, yes, thank you sir. Your voice is audible.
Yeah,
Shashi.
am I audible? Yeah.
Yes sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shashi sir, yes, you are audible. Kindly switch on your webcam.
Okay, thank you, Prasanna. Thank you very much for the various topic you touch on, how the pre-COVID and after COVID has used open source, and in the medical, not only the banking, and as such DCB doing on various things on the open source. Now I request our good friend Manish Tiwari, who's a Senior VP and Global CISO Bharti Airtel, to share his views. Manish?
Yeah, hi, Shashi. Thank you so much for inviting me. Just 1 second, guys. I think in the interest of time, and I'm sorry, guys, if there is a bit of a sound. I'm outside. In the interest of time, and a lot has been said. So what I would like to sort of, just very quickly bring up some key issues. Guys, in Airtel, we have really embraced open source in a very big way. We are a very, very large, DevOps shop. There's a lot of engineering, IT engineering, and application development that we do internally. There has been a huge amount of transformation in the last 4-5 years. And we use both proprietary as well as open source, software in a very, very big way. The point I would like to make here is that, folks, there is no silver bullet. There are a lot of considerations that go into account before direction is taken on what exactly to do. There are lots of benefits as well as challenges with open source. So, I've heard a lot of good things about open source. I come from an extensive naval background. I was in the armed forces, looking after and auditing a lot of IT systems. We saw the pros and cons of everything. We saw how proprietary software can create a lot of problems, particularly for systems when they are exploited, and they have to be supported over a period of 20, 25, or even 30 years. At the same time, we saw a lot of challenges when adopting open source. And, so some of the good things about open source is it's a, continuous and very quick evolution. And when you have a large community which is working, collectively, you see a very, better code quality, better and more extensive customization is possible. So in organizations where you have the capability, you have a very specific requirement, and there is a need for a very, very, high level of customization, open source typically works very, very well. But that has to be supported with a tremendous amount of in-house capability. going for taking a strategic direction and then a third party to do your job for you. Eventually, what I have seen in my personal experience is not just the cost, but goes through the roof. But eventually, directly or indirectly, you end up having a lock-in with something or somebody. When you talk about a vendor lock-in, you may end up avoiding a vendor lock-in as far as an OEM is concerned, but you may still end up becoming extremely dependent on a services partner, and if you do not have in-house capability, it can land you in serious trouble. The other thing is, of course, continuous availability. We have, I can, I don't want to take names of any specific OEMs, but we know in the field of IT, you want to go with the best, but at times acquisitions actually happen. With the result, all of a sudden, you might find that the direction of the new owners of the company has changed. There are times when they sunset the products, and it can create a tremendous amount of disruption in your operations. Some of the issues or challenges that I would like to highlight, since a lot of good has been spoken, I don't want to repeat what others have said, and I completely agree with all of you and my esteemed co-panelists. Some of the challenges that I would like to highlight is on account of vulnerabilities. My domain expertise is that of cybersecurity and risk management. And what I would like to highlight is that despite the best of intentions, there could be a challenge when it comes to addressing the timely addressal of vulnerabilities in open source platforms. And and it could actually land an organization into a pickle. Now, I'm not by any means saying that these challenges do not exist in proprietary software. We have seen the case of SolarWinds, which really caused a lot of disruption in the ecosystem, negative disruption. And how do you overcome a challenge or a hack on the lines of what actually happened in SolarWinds, because they actually attacked the supply chain very successfully. Some of the other issues that come with open source is a very steep learning curve, extremely steep learning curve. I would like to give an example. In the armed forces, we had challenges with certain proprietary software, and it was decided that some internet-facing systems will go on to a customized OS, which would be Linux-based, and an agency was contracted to basically PSU to sort of do the development. And our personal experience over a period of 4-5 years was that, look, when it comes to a software development lifecycle and sustaining a product through its lifecycle, it's not about doing a brilliant job once, but ensuring that you are able to support the product and you're able to transform the product over its entire lifecycle. So that kind, unless organizations do not have that kind of a commitment, you can do a great job once, but if the product has to be supported over a longer period, then it can actually become a challenge. I have served in very large organizations, and let me tell you, some of the projects itself that are driven require anything close to about a year to implement and to mature. So the whole process of procurement, testing, and then procurement, implementation, and maturing of the solution can be a 1.5 year project. And your solutions have to run in an integrated environment. And if you're not able to support, and you don't have the luxury of making drastic changes every 1.5 to 2 years, it can cause a lot of anguish, not to mention financial, challenges. And hence, you need to be able to support anything that you are deploying in a large and complex enterprise environment. from a long-term perspective. So I just thought I'd share some of these challenges with you. My apologies for the sound, guys. I'm outside. So some of these are the challenges. But one of the biggest challenges I would like to highlight once again is primarily in-house capability. I think organizations who embrace open source, and open source has disrupted the entire ecosystem very positively in a very, very big way. Whether it is in terms of cloud or IoT, etc., and it continues to do so. I think in the years to come, open source is going to play a very, very important part. But organizations, when they do so, they have to take a lot of things into account, including what is their in-house capability. So I think one of my co-panelists very rightly pointed out that open source is not about saving money. And unfortunately, what I see in the ecosystem is largely the with let's do that because it's going to save us a lot of time. So Shashi, I'd like just to stop there in the interest of time, and over to you.
Manish, thank you very much addressing the gathering and coming with a security perspective, how the open source is vulnerable, and at the same time, a lot of things has happened on open source. Looking at the time, we have Saurabh and Mohit over there in the next session also. I would like to invite Sumit Chaudhary, who's the founder of Gaya Smart Cities Limited and ex-CA of Reliance Jio and an IBM. Sumit, your views, please.
So kindly unmute yourself.
Yes, Sumit?
Sir, I think his camera freezed. Can we continue?
Okay, so Saurabh, do you want to start the next session or do you want to speak in this, you and Mohit?
So I think I can speak for 2 minutes before going to the next session.
Oh, okay, so then let me invite Mohit and then Saurabh will take over from there. Mohit, your quick views on the inaugural session, please. Mohit.
Yeah, hi Shashi, thanks and good morning to all. I think most of the panelists, including Manish and everybody, talked about open source.
Sir, kindly switch on your webcam. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
1 second, I'm so sorry. 1 second. Yes, I'm visible.
Not yet. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, Shashi.
I've joined in.
Okay, so give me 2 minutes. Yeah, Mohit, go ahead. Yeah.
So just quickly as to keeping the interest of time. I've been associated with open source for nearly a decade now in terms of working for organizations which were helping out large organizations to focus on absorption of open source and consumption of open source. Like correctly pointed out, 3 main issues which any organization should look towards in by consuming open source is of course the security risk, which Manish pointed out a little earlier. And also the important thing is, which is important, is the licensing information, because open source does not mean freeware. There's a clear thin line dividing freeware and open source. So freeware is not open source. So by open source we mean the open source components also being consumed in third-party applications. That's very important because it could lead to a security risk, or they could lead to a legal or licensing risk. And the third important point on open source, which people should look into, is the compliance portion, and also in terms of the license and legal aspects. But what people normally forget is the code rot. So by code rot, what we mean is how old is that open source component being consumed. So it will not be, I'll candidly put it that when you're deciding to create your open source and DevSecOps environment, it's important to use the fact that how old is the component you're consuming. You need to know the the day the component was created, how productive it is, or how popular it is. Because if there is no popularity, if there's nobody contributing to an open source component, you can keep on consuming it and you'll end up with no support. So these are some of the important aspects I feel, Shashi, which organizations should look into while consuming open source.
Okay. Thank you, Mohit. Sumit, your views, please. Sumit, yeah.
Hi. I was not able to unmute myself. Now my camera won't switch on, but that's okay. Let me share my views on an audio connection as well. So, I when I was listening to Manish and also to Prasanna and everybody, one thing was coming to my mind. Essentially, when I was at Reliance, they used to build these large pipelines. When they ordered all these pipes, which were kept in kilometers of field. But when the actual pipeline was being constructed, if you did not find the right pipe, they had to rebuild it all over again. So the biggest problem that I've seen, I've been one of the largest proponents and deployers of open source back in my days. And we have replaced Microsoft Office in many places, replaced SAP-based systems in many places with open source components. Now, the problem is, where is the inventory of all the open source that is there? And as Manish was pointing out, that if you do not have a team that knows what it is doing, it is very difficult to get into open source and to maintain and manage the ecosystem. That we realized almost 15 years ago when we were at Reliance and we were trying to reduce our cost was the first instance. But at the end of the day, the TCO of the application is the cost of the team that is going to maintain it. And it is a product at the end of the day. You're looking at products and it's not a custom development. It is not the cost. It gives you, open source is a great tool to get you a huge head start in implementing a project. I have been an entrepreneur for the last 6 years, and let me tell you that we have used open source for almost everything to get started. But as we step into it, we realize that we have to customize it to make our product, and we have to give back to the community. If you want to be part of the open source, you have to give back to the community. And you want to make sure that you are giving and taking from that community as you are building your product. It is not about cost. And also in the government, in working in the government, in smart cities, in Swachh Bharat, in many other government programs, a lot of code is open source, but nobody knows where it is. Where is the inventory of all the source components? Can I get a government project going, knowing all the other projects which are contributed and have got components which are available? One of the suggestions that I have to the panel today here and also to the government is to create this inventory, this catalog, this GitHub. Let's call it a GitHub for the government, which will allow us to reuse all the components which have been built and rebuilt and reused for the various. At the end of the day, we as taxpayers are paying, and I'm also to contribute to the larger that I'm talking about. But it would be great if we don't have to rebuild everything all over again. It will be projects started a lot faster, and we have got the functionality that can be used by citizens faster when you look at the government and or even the private sector. So at the end of the day, it is about understands how the software can be enhanced and what are the components and feature functionalities which are available. For GitHub to find the right component is an art by itself. It is not easy. Searching for an open source which is available for you to use is also an art. Just like people might say that you can Google and find anything, find the right thing in Google, and finding through 3 clicks to get there is an art by itself again. So my suggestion for the open source community here, at least a lot is to find a way in which we cater the open development by various to document. The biggest I've seen is the documentation of open source, which is being given back to the community. And let's look at the entire government ecosystem and create this documentation. And documentation is just the metadata. What are the systems that are there? What are the feature functionality? What can be the reusable components? Golok sir talked about the microservices. Where is the catalog of all microservices available in all the 50,000 projects that are going on today? If we create it, it will be a huge asset for the country, and it will fast track us to being the largest and the most consumer of our systems, which we are not. Innovation is not there today because we are reinventing the wheel in every contract, and we are spending a lot of money and mediocre. Let's call a spade a spade. We are creating a lot of mediocre open source today. And if we have to spend quality open source, let us spend a little more money. As Manish said, it is not about money. Let us spend a little more money to document things. We give L1 contracts to people. And when we do an L1 contract, the least thing that we do at the end of a project is to dump kar do, isko de do, and nobody can reuse that code ever again. Right? Why not spend 5% more money and document the system and make sure that it is available in a catalog which is available and reusable for every other department? Why can't we all get together and create this asset for the country? I'm going to stop here my ranting. I have been a contributor as well as a consumer of this problem. So I believe in creating solutions, and I've given a suggestion. Let's figure out a way to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Sumit. Thank you very much. Before we move to the next session, I would like to ask Saurabh. He wanted to share 2 minutes views, and then we'll move to the next session. Saurabh.
So good afternoon, everyone. So I personally believe open source has a great role to play, especially in a developing country like India. So open source should not be just limited to the software. I personally believe that open source has a great role in improving the user experience, the user interface, even the content. For example, a lot of the content has to be ported to various languages in the country. So many software vendors have to reinvent the wheel every time. Somebody has to port from English to various local languages. Even educational content, I think a lot of educational content is there which can be open sourced. Unfortunately, what I've seen is that even though in government departments, like we are hearing that a lot of the software related things are being open sourced, the content, especially the educational content and the other kinds of content, are not being open source under various licenses. I think that can be a game changer because we have these platforms, technical platforms like Aadhaar. We can also have content-based open platforms. Like, for example, just a small thing. Why are NCERT books under copyright? They should obviously be open sourced and licensed. Why are CBSE material under copyright? So I think all those kind of things should also be open source under various licenses like Creative Commons license, etc. And maybe government can create its own open license also. And we should do that. The other thing is like my friend Sumit was sharing, that many of the open source content or open source software is not usable. So if you go to any big open source project, it's very difficult to get in. So once I thought I will, because all these browsers are open source, I will go and I will just customize the browser. I went inside and the code was so bloated. There was lack of documentation at various places. So I was not able to customize the browser, and it was just like all the other speakers have shared, that you need fully functional team inside your organization to do any kind of customization, which I think defeats the purpose for smaller organizations, especially organizations, startups, etc., who want things fast. So maybe government or maybe the big corporates can do that, but smaller startups, they want something like a WordPress, open source, which is very highly documented, which is maintained by active community, and which actually reduces cost and improves the speed also. And it also gives more like WordPress has a lot of vendors, for example, giving designs, etc. You can buy a lot of plugins, etc. in the community. I think that kind of a vibrant ecosystem has to be created for various kinds of open source software. Just a dead software open source project would not help the community, the startups and the organizations. So I personally believe a lot of things have to be done. So, but things have been improved, and I have personally seen how, especially the government is using open source to create scalable infrastructure. Arogya Setu, I think, is a good example. So within last 1 year, last time when we had the conference, there was no Arogya Setu, and today we have Arogya Setu. Yesterday only I checked to see how many downloads have been done, and Arogya Setu was showing that it has 17 crore downloads now. So which is a big feat. I don't think there is any other app in the world which has been downloaded so fast. So with that, I think we should move on to the next session.
Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you all the panelists for sharing their views. I wanted to get into a small panel discussion, but now the time is the church. So I would like to thank Golakji, Manishji, Prasanna, Saurabh, Sumit, and Mohit. Thank you very much for sharing your views on this inaugural session of the 4th Open Source Virtual Summit. So we'll move to the next